Good morning, YouTube. I know there's a lot of videos out on choosing the right kayak. I'll go ahead and put my 2 cents worth in. I did a lot of research before I bought one. And because of that, I know I made the right choice. My goal was not to spend over $400, and I actually picked this one up for $349. What this is a 10-foot sit-in, no limits adventure kayak. It has a weight limit of 300 pounds. I weigh less than 200 pounds, even though I'm 6'2", which gives me ample extra storage space, of which I do carry some survival gear in case I have to stay out in an unexpected condition, where the storm comes up, whatever. And I probably got about 20 pounds of that, tarps, extra rain gear, knives, hatchets, whatever. Keep that in the storage. I don't even unload that, I just keep that in there. But what I'd like to talk about today would be how to choose the right kayak and not be disappointed with what you bought. The first thing you're going to need to understand is where are you going to use the kayak and how much weight you're going to be carrying. A 10-foot kayak, whether it's either sit on top or sit in, usually the capacity of weight will be between 250 and 300 pounds. So you need to definitely take that in consideration when you're making a decision on which kayak you're going to buy. How are you going to support it? I mean, not support, but how are you going to transport it? Do you want to stay dry? Or do you mind getting wet? How far are you going to paddle to fish? Are you going to be fishing big lakes? Are you going to be fishing ponds, rivers? All of this you need to take in consideration before you buy a kayak, especially if you're just going to buy one. And this is going to be your first kayak. You don't want to buy the wrong one. The last time I went out, I had it on the top of the car just like this at the landing, and a guy saw it coming up. He was in a kayak. He hollered over, "Is that a Hobie?" I said, "No, it's not. It's a no limits." He said, "That's a good kayak. This piece of junk I bought." And he had spent way more money than I did on his. I said, "This one here is great." Me, I like to paddle long distances to fish. I'm not going to just fish around the landing. If you're going to have to paddle mile and a half to fish, then you're not going to want something that you're setting up high above the water, paddling into the wind. You're not going to want that. You want to stay streamlined. And the good thing about a sit-in kayak, especially one that's got a dihedral hull on it. This is a one-piece. It's right at 30 inches wide, 10 feet long. This thing cuts through the wind. As you can see, the nose of this kayak is very slim. This thing will cut through the water, and it goes into wind with no problem. So those are a couple of things you need to decide. How far you're going to paddle, how much energy you want to expend to get there. Are you going to be paddling in waves, pretty much flat water? All this you need to decide before you make your purchase. You don't want to get out on the lake and find out you made the wrong purchase and then get in a situation you don't want to be in. But I have never had a moment's doubt as to whether I made the right purchase or not. I did a lot of research before I bought. Did I want it to sit in or do I want to sit on top? I came to the conclusion that I wanted to stay dry. I wanted to be low in the water. And I wanted it fast. So, with all that taken into consideration, I bought the No Limits 10-foot 4-inch kayak at Academy of Sports for $349. This is the only 10-foot kayak that I would recommend to any of my family members or would buy for them. They've got to sit on top as well. I think a 10-foot sit on top, but me, I chose the sit in. I'm a simple fisherman. I'm not gonna take a lot of things with me. When you buy a kayak like this, it's got 2 rod holders. It's got a dry compartment in the front and then a storage compartment in the back, which is not dry. You'd have to put a dry bag back there if you want to keep things dry. But when I go out, I take a small tackle box. I take a camera with me, which I mount to the front with a bungee cord. As a matter of fact, the same camera I'm using today to film this. Take 2 fishing rods, ample food and water, and like I said, what's already stored in the compartment that I don't take out. A couple extra life jackets, extra paddle, bail bucket. But those are just a few questions that you need to ask yourself before